Hi everyone, welcome to Bad Weather BBQ. I'm Johnny and today it's Traeger time. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. This is the channel where we talk all things barbecue. At the time of recording this, it's early September, and that can mean only one thing in barbecue land. Yep, you've guessed it, it's sale time. I've been on various social media groups over the last few weeks, just looking at all of the deals that everybody's getting their hands on. And I'll be honest with you, I'm no different. There's always been one type of grill that's really intrigued me, and one that I don't own, and that is a pellet grill. So when walking around my local garden centre recently, I happened across the barbecue section as I do, and I saw a 30% off sticker on this particular grill. So what grill am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the Traeger Pro 575. Right, before everybody starts shouting at me in the comments, just let me walk through, for those of you who don't know what a pellet grill is, let me just kind of walk you through that and then some of the pros and cons of this type of barbecue. A pellet grill, or indeed as it's also known, an electric or digital grill, doesn't use your normal fuel types like charcoal, lump wood, or indeed just wood. What it uses are little pellets of compressed wood dust. The benefit of a pellet grill is that you turn it on, you set the dial to the temperature you want, you press ignite, and then it does everything for you. There's no lighting or anything like that. It's a clever machine that uses an auger to push all of the wood pellets from the hopper into the actual fire chamber within the barbecue. From there on in, it does everything for you. There's no peering in because on the one that I've got, you get an app with it, so you can see what temperature it's at. And if you use the internal probe as well, you can understand how your meat's doing. With all that said, my research across a number of social media groups has highlighted one thing to me, and that is that pellet grills are kind of like the Marmite of barbecue land. You either love them or you hate them. The reason for this is there's no fire management required really at all. So the purists would say, well, barbecuing is all about fire management. It's all about keeping an eye on your fire, on your temperatures, and making the necessary adjustments you need to. Whereas the flip side of that is that with a digital smoker, it takes all of that away from you. So what's my take on this? Well, I would agree to a point. With a pellet smoker, there is no requirement to keep an eye on your fuel. As long as your hopper's topped up prior to the start of your cook, you're good to go. However, what these do allow you to do is ultimately be flexible. For example, you can put a big hunk of pork shoulder in there, put your probe in, and just leave it to go. And then all of a sudden, in about sort of 8 hours, you'll have fantastic pulled pork. And this is the genius of these. So for example, the other day, I put in some beef ribs and I just left them to cook whilst I was ripping up my kitchen floor. So what this does really do is it allows you to just, as I say, be flexible, still have the food that you want, but you're not tied to the barbecue all day. Having discussed this type of grill with some of my friends, it's clear to me that there's different grills for different jobs. And I think this is exactly what I've got here. For example, I wouldn't have been able to do all the work around the house that I did the other day and still be able to enjoy beef ribs at the same time if I didn't have the Traeger. These smokers have their places, just like the traditional stick burners like the Oklahoma Joe that I own as well. So let's now take a few minutes just to have a little look at the unboxing and building process for those of you who might potentially be thinking about buying one of these type of grills. And please make sure you stick around till the end of the video, where I'll be giving you my 3 top tips for making this build a success. So there you have it, my Traeger Pro 575 put together. At the time of recording this portion of the video, I've actually done a number of cooks on it, but I'm going to talk to the first two that I've done. So as you'll see on the screen at the moment, I've done firstly pork ribs, followed up by the beef ribs that I mentioned earlier. In terms of the quality that I was able to get off the pork ribs and the beef, you'll see on the screen, I got a fantastic smoke ring. Certainly across the beef, I didn't take any pictures of the pork ones, unfortunately. So really happy with that, because that's generally regarded as one of the downsides of these, is that you get a much greater smoke ring if you're using something like an Oklahoma Joe Highland or any type of traditional stick burner versus a pellet grill. Early in the video, I said I would give you my 3 top tips for making this build a success. So here we go. Number 1, follow the instructions. I know that sounds daft, but really it's so straightforward, so simple. You could easily crack on, make a mistake, and then have to undo it all. So make sure you follow those instructions. Number 2, make sure you have a second person with you. As you'll see in the video, I did ask my son to help me from time to time, as indeed you have to lie the barbecue on its back at one point and then bring it back up once you've attached the legs. So having that second person is absolutely vital to the build. Number 3, if you, like I did, decide to build this inside, make sure you've got enough room to get it outside. So make sure your door is wide enough, and also make sure, if you need to, like I did, that you've got appropriate ramps to be able to wheel the barbecue down the steps outside. Right, so let's just do some quick pros and cons on these. So we'll start with the pros. Number 1, I've talked about flexibility already, and I stand behind that. You can set these up and you can go off and do whatever you need to do, and that barbecue will be ready for you when you need it. Number 2, build quality. The Traeger is a mix of cast iron and rolled steel, and it's an absolute unit. It weighs a ton, there's no chance that's getting moved. And then number 3, I would say ease of setup. You link this grill to your Wi-Fi, it downloads all the updates it needs to, and it tells you exactly what's happening in your grill and in your meat from just using the app alone. So that's a massive thumbs up. In terms of cons then, let's have a look at them. Number 1, cost. I'll be honest, I never thought I'd actually be able to afford a Traeger until I saw that 30% off. They are not cheap. Generally speaking, all pellet grills are not cheap. So if you are in the market for one of these, it does pay to shop around. Number 2, and I'm taking this really from some of the research that I've done and some of the groups that I've been interacting with, was the point around not getting enough smoke penetration. But I have to say, I haven't really found that myself. You've seen the beef ribs, and I thought I got a great smoke ring on that. So in actual fact, is that a con? I'm not sure. Right, number 3 then would be lack of fire management skills required. Again, it just comes down to the type of cook that you're doing, or indeed what you're doing on that day. If fire management's your thing, then great. You're probably not going to buy one of these anyway. You know, that's where you'll be going for the likes of an Oklahoma Joe. However, if you want to do something else, but you still want to come home to barbecue food, then this might be the grill for you. Right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that video. It was an absolute pleasure to make this, as indeed I got to try pork ribs and beef ribs on the Traeger. So this was an absolute easy one for me. So I hope you liked that video. If you did, please hit that like button. I can't overstate enough how much just hitting that like button really helps the channel. So please consider doing so. If you haven't yet subscribed, it would be fantastic if you would consider doing so. And as ever, please leave me a comment in the section below. Let me know what you think. Have you got one of these? What have you done with them? Or is a pellet grill just not your thing at all? Let's have a chat in the comments below. So thanks for watching, everybody. You look after yourselves, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.